All right, hello everyone. Welcome to Warren's Team Talk. Thanks very much for joining me today. And today it's a strange one, really, because I'm going to be covering. The English Premiership game between Bournemouth and Newcastle, or Newcastle and Bournemouth, I should say, and also 4 games in the Scottish Premiership. So we've got. In there, we have, let's see what the fixtures are. So let's quickly go to those. We'll come back to these things in a minute. Where is it? Okay, so we've got Newcastle against Bournemouth, Hibs against Aberdeen, Livingston against Kilmarnock, Rangers against Dundee United, and St Johnstone. St Johnstone against Ross County. So that's the games for today. We'll be keeping a close eye on all of those. Anyway, I hope you're all well. I'm just going to say hello to everyone who's in the chat. Taib says, "Hi, Ron, long time to see. How are you, my friend?" He says, "Yeah, I'm good, Taib. Thanks very much. I had to take some time out. There was a lot of quite serious stuff going on, but I've nearly sorted it all out now. Well, sort of anyway. So it's got to the stage where I can start streaming again, which is a massive relief. So thanks very much, Taib. I appreciate that, mate. And then we got Mr. Collins in the chat as well. And he says, afternoon, all good to be back and good to see you, Warren. Thanks a lot, Jez. I hope you're good, mate. I hope you've having a great holiday. I believe that you're in the south of France, and I hope you're really enjoying it, mate. You certainly deserve it, that's for sure. I hope you and your wife are having an absolutely fantastic time and a well-deserved break, mate. So, yeah, it's good to see you too, mate. Thanks very much for coming and joining me today. And Del Boy Gunner TV, what's the crack? What's the bleeding story, Warren? Mate, you know, Saturday afternoons, that's it. That's the one for me, mate. I love doing this show. I have to be honest. I find it really, really interesting. It is an absolute madness. Every Saturday, there's always loads and loads of drama. But there you go. And Del Boy Gunner says, "Hi, Taib and Jez. And why not Spursy, Mikel Arteta, love Arsenal, hate Kroenke. Big up, we're on top, man." Thanks very much, my man. And it's great to see you. Thanks very much for coming in. I hope it's going to be a good show for all of you today. And just so, I don't know if anyone knows, but that picture you've got in your profile picture, why not, I believe is the one and only Jack Grealish. Now, he got really badly injured today. One of the Wolves players, like, basically, it sounds like, I don't know if he did or not, but it sounds like the fella kung fu kicked him. And the Wolves player got rightly sent off, and Jack Grealish needed a lot of treatment. So I'm not sure that Jack actually finished the game or not himself. But yeah, the fella got rightly sent off. I mean, I can't stand stuff like that. I really, really hate it. And I'm glad to see that the guy got dealt with by the referee, because it's a side of football that I don't like. I really don't. Jez Collins says, "Del Boy Gunner TV. Hi, Del Boy." No, we are back now, mate. Oh, well, I hope you enjoyed yourself, fella. I'm going to be doing a stream on Diesel's channel very soon. I'm not going to say what it is, but I'm working on it. And as Diesel said the other night, it is going to be an absolute banger. I can't wait for it. It is wild. And it's something I'm quite passionate about, and I've got really strong views about it. So let's see what happens. And it's not, I think you'll be surprised about what I think about it. Let's put it like that. Anyway, why not Spursy? Mikel Arteta says, "Good afternoon, gentlemen. Don, Jez, Ty, Del Boy, big up, fellas." Yeah, mate, it's a very nice clique of people I've got in here today. I'm really happy about that. And Del Boy Gunner, "Hi, why not?" says Del Boy. And Jez says, why not Spursy, Mick Arteta and all the rest of it? That name is unreal. I absolutely love it. Hi, mate. Hope all is good. So, yeah. So let's get into the lineups such that I wasn't able to do what I normally do, unfortunately, for the lineups. Oh, where's that gone? Yeah, I wasn't able to do what I'm normally able to do for the lineups, unfortunately, because I didn't want to be really late and I was running a bit late, unfortunately. Before I do that, I just want to big up these YouTube channels. It's Arsenal Alex and the Aussie Gooner, Diesel Arsenal, Del Boy Gunner TV, who's in the chat. Arsenal, the history and more, he's in the chat as well. Gracie-Mae, NorthsideLdn, the football capital, and Carl Walsh Gunner TV. All these channels, I absolutely love them. I really do. I absolutely love them. And I want, please, guys, if you haven't subscribed to their channels already, please go and check them out because their content is superb. Like damn sight better than the rubbish that TalkSport put out and things like that. Honestly, I'm not just saying that because most of these people are my mates. I 100% believe it, right? I stopped listening to TalkSport because I've had enough of them. I just can't bear it. It's just so fake and nonsense that they talk. I can't bear it. So please go and check these guys out. Their content is unbelievable, and yeah, don't forget to put likes on their videos because that's really, really important. And like I say, if you haven't subscribed to them already, please do that and make sure you share the content around and let everyone else that you know what gems there are on YouTube because they're gems as far as I'm concerned. Right, so now the lunchtime kickoff today saw Wolves, as we were talking about a little while ago, take on Man City at Molineux. The game ended in a 3-0 victory for Manchester City. I think his name's Nathan Collins. He got sent off in the 33rd minute for an absolutely horrific challenge on Jack Grealish. Jack Grealish opened the scoring in the 3rd minute. Might have had something to do with Jack Grealish being an ex-Villa player and there'd been a bit of a rivalry between Villa and Wolves. I don't know. But anyway, Grealish gave Wolves City the lead. They extended their lead in the 16th minute by who else? Haaland. And then Foden added to the scoring in the 69th minute, and that's the way it ended. There were assists from De Bruyne. He got 2 assists, and Bernardo Silva. So quite a comfortable victory in the end for Man City. The match stats, Wolves had 40% possession, and obviously Man City had the rest of it, which was 60%. Wolves had 6 shots, and Man City had 16. Wolves had 1 shot and on target, and Man City had 7. There were 5 corners for Wolves and 7 for Manchester City. So there you go. That was the tale of the tape, as I like to call it. The Premier League table, as it is today, as it was yesterday. This was for the games last night, obviously. That was the Premier League table. Arsenal still sitting top. They won't be sitting top now. They'll be second after Man City's win today, but they will have a game in hand. And so that's it. And Wolves, where are they? Yeah, they're down in 14th. They would have gone down below Crystal Palace on the virtual goal difference because their goal difference now going to be -4. So let's see what happens in this afternoon's game between Newcastle and Bournemouth. Newcastle need to get back to winning ways. I heard something that they hadn't won for about 4 or 5 games or something. I don't know if that's particularly true or not, but that's what I heard. Bournemouth, they've been not very good at all so far this season. They took an absolute slapping at Liverpool, didn't they? Was it 9-0 or something? And I thought they were dreadful against that game that they played against Arsenal. It was shocking. So yeah, that's the Premier League table. The Scottish Premiership table. Look at that performance from Celtic. Played 6, won 6. The goal difference, they scored 25 goals in 6 games and conceded only 1. Far and away the best team in Scotland by a country mile at the moment. Rangers are on their coattails though. 1-4, drawn 1, lost 1. But the goals, they've scored 14 against 7. The goal difference is way inferior. And they took an absolute mauling against Celtic. The recent Old Firm game, which they lost 4-0. Yeah, so there you have it. So let's get back into these chats because I'm a bit behind, to be frank. Where are we? Right, Del Boy Gunner says, who needs Sky when we have Warren's team talk on a Saturday afternoon? Exactly, mate. I'm after that mantle. I am. Hello, Warren. I have Saturday off at last from helping out on a witchy stall. Excellent. Nice one. That's what I like to hear. I hope you enjoyed it. And Diego, see Palace. Up the Palace. Yeah, exactly, mate. I hope they continue to do well. How do you feel about their performances so far? So this is the, like I say, we talked about this earlier. These are the games that we're covering today. Where are we? I've lost my spot again. Okay, there we go. And Craig AFC 87, Warren, afternoon, mate. Afternoon to you too, buddy. I hope you're good. Right, so this is the Newcastle lineup. Okay. They've gone with Nick Pope in goal, Kieran Trippier as the captain, Fabian Schär, Dan Burn, Matt Targett, Bruno Grimace, Joe Willock, Joel Linton, Ryan Fraser, Miguel Almiron, and Alexander Isaac. And on the bench, they've gone with Karius, Botman, Lascelles, Richie, Lewis, Manquillo, Wood, and Murphy. I think there's another one there, but I'm going to take this off because it's making it difficult for me. That's better. And Longstaff. Bournemouth, on the other hand, they've got Neto, Cook, Mepham, Lerma, Solanke, Christie, Smith, who's captain, Tavernier, Sinisi, Billing, and Zamora. And their bench is, God, I can't even read that. Tavernier, maybe. I can't. It's not very good. The colours scheme there. I'm sorry. I'll let you guys have a read of it. This is their lineup. Newcastle are going for a 4-3-3, and Bournemouth are going for a 4-2-3-1. This is the Hibs lineup. They've gone with Marshall, ex-Arsenal player, who was a goalkeeper here at Arsenal up until beginning of last season. And then Cadden, Porteous, Hanlon, Cabraja, Kene, Newell, Campbell, Boyle, Johan, and Kururovic. And Aberdeen, Ruse, McRoby, Scales, Stewart, Miofsky, Biesian, Duck, Ramadani, Hayes, Coulson, and Richardson. and their formations. For me, this is the biggest game of the day in Scotland. Hibs against Aberdeen. Hibs are going for a 4-2-3-1, and Aberdeen are going for a 4-2-3-1 as well. And then the game between Livingston and who are they playing? Livingston's game. You can see the lineups there. I'm not going to go through that because we're getting near to kickoff now. And Rangers are playing Dundee United today. So Dundee United will be hoping they don't get a mauling like they did at home to Celtic recently, where they lost 9-0 at home. I'm not sure that will happen. But I think they will probably be quite cagey and quite negative today because they probably just don't want to get absolutely ripped to shreds. But that's the Rangers lineup and the Dundee United lineup for you. And then this is the game between Ross County from the Highlands, and they're away at St Johnstone. So there's the two lineups there. Like I said, today I had some issues. I couldn't get the formations up for these two because I was running out of time. So yeah, there we have it. I'm going to leave it on that screen there while the games are going on. And let's get this up. See if I can find what I'm looking for. Right. Okay, that's better. That's what I'm looking for. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to get this out, put it there like that, and go back here. And we're going to, I'm going to share the screen so that you guys can see what I'm looking at. Slides. Share screen. Tab. Right. There you go. That's what I'm looking at as well. So just so that you can see that. And there's the other games in Scotland. I'll be looking at those as well, just so that we can have a bit of entertainment. But yeah, so let's go back to the chat because I've got a feeling I'm really far behind. So here we go. Craig says Haaland is Ivan Drago in football, a beast. I'm not actually sure who Ivan Drago is. I know that I remember years ago reading the real story of Count Dracula, and there was this thing in there. In Romania they had this Prince Draco or something, and it had the thing of a dragon and whatnot. I don't know if that's got anything to do with it, but yeah, it sounds impressive though, that's for sure. Del Boy says hi, Joe, Diego, and Craig. And Del Boy, hi, mate, says Craig. And there's no stopping Haaland. He's unbelievable, and I reckon he will break all records. Mate, I think I wouldn't be surprised if he does because he's on fire at the moment, and playing in that team, he's going to get so many chances to score. It's going to be ridiculous. Diego C. Palace says, big up, Del Boy. Why not says, hope the family is well, Jez. Lucas Hood, 92. Warren, what's your thoughts on Haaland? How many goals can he score? Mate, he can score, in my opinion, he can score as many as he wants to. Honestly, that's what I think. I just think he's an absolute machine. But he's playing in a really good team that's going to create lots of chances. So I wouldn't be surprised if he gets close, or if not gets close, he breaks all sorts of goal scoring records while he's playing for City. Excuse me. Because he just seems like an absolute animal. Craig AFC 87 says Del Boy Haaland will score 50 goals in all competitions. Oh, that's ridiculous, isn't it? If what's that guy's name? We've got an Everton supporter who comes in the chat sometimes, and I'm sure he'll tell you all about the legend, which is Dick Steen. Maybe Jez knows about this. I'm sure Jez knows about him as well. Well, anyone who knows about football knows about Dick Steen. He scored 60 league goals in the season for Everton. 60. And that was in the days when there was 42 games a season, and he managed to net 60 times. It's unreal. It was in, I think he was in the 30s, and he was an unreal striker. He really was. And Why Not says, hi, Del, hope the boys are well. Joanne says, hello, Del boy. And the table's looking more realistic now. Well, yeah, because City are top, I guess. Jez Collins, Why Not Spursy? All good, mate. We had a great holiday and ate too much and drank too much with some lifelong friends, all Arsenal fans, but it's nice to be back home. Yeah, it's always nice to come home after a holiday. Well, sometimes it is. Diego C. Palace, content and happy with Pat and his players at the moment, but we need back-to-back winning games in the bag during October. Yeah, and I don't see any reason why he can't do it, to be honest. Taib says, hi, Jesus. And Taib was saying, legend. Yeah, well, there you go. See, that's it. And so it's kickoff time, people. And let's see what happens, what madness unfolds today. And let's see what's going on. Let's see. I'm just having a look because as well as what's on. Let me see if I can get it up on here though as well, because it'd be pretty good to have it up on here, but I won't be able to show both of them. I want to be able to see on the computer what is going on in the Scottish League and the English League. Now, unfortunately, it won't let me have them on the same screen, which is a bit of a pain. But never mind. Let me just turn this off and on, because I can stop that. Right, now let's put that back on. Won't be a minute, guys. There you go. Right, so let's see if we can get this up as well. So, football. Scores and fixtures. Hibernian, Aberdeen. Follow live coverage here. Right, okay, so we've got that. Yeah, so the Aberdeen manager's going on about how good he thinks his squad is. Well, they've had a good start to the season this season. Last season, they didn't do very well, I don't think. I mean, from what I remember, they seemed to be struggling quite a lot last year, but things have improved. So, anyway, we're at kickoff and Joanne says 4-0 to Newcastle. Yeah, everyone, let's have some predictions. What's going to happen in the game in the Premier League today? Joanne says 4-0. I think I've got a tendency to go along with Joanne, but I don't think it'll be 4. I think it'll be 3 at best. I think Bournemouth will slowly start improving. But I do think that the guy who got the sack was quite harshly treated, to be honest. But that's football for you, like top level football. It don't take any prisoners, unless, of course, you're Arsenal, in which case you're allowed to stay and do all sorts of madness and get away with it, like putting up banners of people and with the wrong information on them. And don't get me, I'm not going to go talk about that today because I'm still really, really angry about it. Joanne says, hi, Taib. Joanne Smith, hi, Joe. Hope all is good with you. Yeah, I hope the witches stall went well. I'd be interested to hear more about that, Joe. Particularly what sort of stuff you were selling and whatnot. Jez, yes, I'm okay, thanks. I hope you're well. You're both well. And Jez, Joanne Smith, yes, Joe, refreshed, all good. Put on a few pounds, though. Well, mate, don't worry about that. I'm sure if you go out for a few runs and whatnot, you'll shed that quite quickly. Taib, hi, Joanne. It's not going to be easy win tomorrow. Brentford will make it difficult for Arsenal. They're a good side and they've got a good striker, and I think he'll be on cloud 9 after being called up to the England squad. So we need to keep a careful eye on him. And sounds like a really great time, says why not Spursy. Can't ask for more for family, friends, and merriment. How was the food? Did you get to try some fine regional wine, Jez? Says why not. Joanne says, Jez, I'm back on the Slimming World plan again. Put on a bit. Oh dear, never mind. As long as you're back on track. Joanne says, I'll go for a 2-1 Scum win. Oh dear. Yeah, they're playing today as well, aren't they? Why not Spursy? Make some stunning wines in restaurants and lots of wine tasting, says Jez. Sounds good, mate. Can't say that that would disappoint me, that's for sure. Even though I'm not allowed to drink because of my meds, but still would have been I would have enjoyed the food, that's for sure. Joanne says we all do, Joe, but that's what enjoying life is about, says Jez. Exactly. You got to enjoy life, otherwise what's the point? I'll see if I still got some videos of the stall. Oh, that'd be good. And Delva says, was the wine cheap? The price of drink in Ireland's going up. No, he's put an angry emoji face in. Yeah, it's a bit shocking. Everything's bloody going up through the roof, isn't it? It's just absolutely shocking. Something else that's like upsetting me. But anyway, so let's see what's going on. Newcastle 0, Bournemouth 0. Newcastle team sheet and hat trick A Newcastle clean sheet and a hat-trick for Kieran Trippier would be nice for fantasy, says someone. I don't know who said that, but there you go. Newcastle have a bright start. Ryan Fraser flying down the left wing and putting in a dangerous cross, which is cleared by Bournemouth defender Marcos Senesi. So there you go. It's Newcastle look like they've come out of the blocks quite quickly. And Ty says, Ron, did you hear David Dean interview on Sky Sports? What did you think of it? I heard David Dean talking on LBC because I like listening to LBC. But I didn't hear him on Sky Sports. No, sorry, Taib. What was he saying? My prediction is Newcastle 3-0 against Bournemouth, says Diego C. Palace. Yeah, I just think Bournemouth are dreadful. They really are. Well, they need to sort it out, because if they don't change their ways, they're going to have a very, very difficult season ahead of them. Jez says, Delboy Gunner TV, some of the wine prices were okay, but we had some silly expensive as well. But I love my wine. Well, fair play to you, mate, as long as you enjoyed yourself. And there he is, the man himself, James Dunlop. Afternoon, Warren, and all. Big up. James, I'm glad that you're here. There was talk just now, a while ago, we were talking about how many goals Haaland would score. Now, I know you don't remember this fella because you're too young, and so am I, despite what people may think. Can you turn this? I want you to tell the chat about one of the biggest legends that Everton Football Club's ever produced, Dixie Dean. Just put something in the chat about Dixie Dean, mate, please. All right, because I want people to know what an absolute animal that man was. His goal scoring was just off the scale. Ty says, Jez, did you hear Dean's interview? Ty says, hi, James. And James says, hi, Taib. Right, so let's see what's going on with this football. 7 minutes. Newcastle 0, Bournemouth 0 still. Neto gives it a stretch and rub and wants to see how it goes. Okay, play continues. So it looks like Neto went down injured for a bit. Newcastle 0, Bournemouth 0, and someone saying Mark Travers, who conceded 9 at Anfield, is out warming up. Oh dear. There you go. So I'm sure that the Geordies will be hoping that he comes on, because they probably fancy their chances against him. And there's been a goal at Hibernian, and Aberdeen have taken the lead. Aberdeen 1-0 up at Hibernian. So here we go. It's time for this. Yeah, it's time for that. Aberdeen have taken the lead. Hibernian. So there you go. Let's see if we can see who scored the goal. There's only 4 minutes gone in that game, and it was scored by DeBarrios Lopez in the 4th minute. Let's see how he scored it. Let's see if we can check that out. Yeah, goal. Hibernian 0, Aberdeen 1. Duke Aberdeen header from the centre of the box to the bottom right corner, assisted by Hayden Coulson with a cross. So there you go. There you have it. The Dons are 1-0 up against Hibs. I won't tell you what the rest of Scotland call the Aberdeen supporters, but yeah, it's not exactly complimentary. So there you go. But yeah, I used to know a few Aberdeen fans, absolutely lovely fellas, and they certainly knew how to drink, that's for sure. and I always enjoyed going out with them and having a good time. So here we go. Let's see what's going on. Oh, what's happened there? Minimise that. Yeah, let's see what's going on in the rest of the games. So Neto, with his dodgy groin, is called into action, but does not have to stretch too much to collect Joe Wilkes' cross. So it's still 0-0 at St James's Park. Lovely footwork from frontman Alexander Isaac, evading Chris Mepham, but the low cross into the 6-yard box is cleared by Jordan Zamura. So let's have a look. So it's 0-0 between Newcastle and Bournemouth. Let's have a look at the other games we were covering. So in Scotland, it's Hibs 0, Aberdeen 1, as we know. It's Livingston 0, Kilmarnock 1. Rangers have gone in front. Rangers are 1. So Rangers have gone 1-0 up against Dundee United. And it's hold on, where are we? Let's see what happened there. 11 minutes gone, and Rangers took the lead in the 8th minute through a goal from Kolak. It was assisted by Tavernier. So let's see how that was scored. Goal: Rangers 1, Dundee United 0. Antonio Mirko Kolak, Rangers, right-footed shot from the centre of the box to the bottom left corner, assisted by James Tavernier following a fast break. Charlie Mulgrew, Dundee United, wins a... Is he still playing? Wins a free kick in the defensive half. So, yeah, there you go. Not looking good for Dundee United. They'll be hoping that the floodgates aren't about to open at Ibrox, because it could get a bit troublesome for them if they're not careful. Especially after they'll be really worried that they're going to get an absolute spanking like they did the other week when they played Celtic. So yeah, that's that. And Neil McCann, former Rangers winger on BBC Sports Sound, says this is all about the certain captain James Tavernier. He robs it out on the right, then drives forward. Antonio Kolak drives it low in the far corner after a lovely little pull back, a great counter-attacking goal. There you go. So let's go back here and see what's going on up at St James's Park. And it's still 0-0 at St James's Park. 12 minutes gone. Ex-Bournemouth man Ryan Fraser being jeered by the travelling supporters high up in the stand at St James's. Well, no surprise there. Of course they're going to jeer him. I don't expect it to be bothering him too much, to be honest. Newcastle 0, Bournemouth 0. Big Dan Burn is down in the area from a Kieran Trippier free kick. But VAR has a look and says it's just a coming together. So Bournemouth goalkeeper Neto launches one upfield. So it's still Newcastle 0, Bournemouth 0. And there we go. That's where we are. So let's have a look at the chat. And there's quite a lot in the chat going on in the chat by the looks of it. Dixie Dean was a proper goal scorer, bucket loads of goals. Mate, he was an absolute beast. Absolute beast of a player. 60 bloody league goals in one season. Jess, did you ever see him play at Arsenal? He was around in the 1930s. I'm sure you would have seen him play in your time at some point. Only joking. You're not that old. Jesus, you're only about 5 years older than me. But yeah, an absolute legend of a player. Del Boy Gunner says, "Oh, nice, Jez. I'm planning a holiday to France next summer. I'll get the boat and drive down." Mate, if you're going to... Oh, yeah. I was going to say you could probably be driving past where I live, but you're in Ireland. So, never mind. Just a crazy thought I had. Ignore that. James Dunlop comes in, and he there you go. See, James knows his football, people. Dixie Dean, 60 league goals in the 27-28 season, which no one in this country will ever do. Highest goal scorer in Everton's history with 383 goals. 2 league title wins, an FA Cup medal as well. Well, there you go. See? What an absolute legend. He's a legend. Absolute. People use that word so much these days. Oh, this one's a legend. That one's a legend. That fella was a proper legend. Absolute animal of a player. And Jez says, Taib, no, I didn't, mate. Shock in the Championship. West Brom leading informed Norwich. Wow, that is a shock. Big game, though, between the two of them, because I dare say at the end of the season, those two will be battling it out at the top of the table. So if they've taken the lead at Norwich, wow, that's big. Why not Spurs? He says, bloody epic. Jez sounds like you was in your element. Mate, I can just imagine you. You probably bloody smile, grinning from ear to ear. Bill Struth was Rangers FC most successful manager. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't really know much about Rangers' history, to be frank. As you all know, my allegiances are to the other side of the city. I've got respect for them, of course I have, but I don't really know that much about their history. I know a lot of Celtic's history, but not Rangers. I know little bits about it, and they're a massive club, really, really massive. Why not Spursy? Mick Arteta says it was great. It was a great time. I can't deny that. Great company and just a lovely, relaxing time, says Jez. Mate, I'm absolutely delighted to hear that you had a good time. I really am. James Dunlop, you confident or nervous against Brentford tomorrow? Ron, same to the chat as well. Mate, I'm a little bit nervous, I have to say, but just because they got Ivan Toney and he I think he will try and bully our back four. I really do. Whether he'll succeed is another matter, because I think William Saliba likes the physical aspect of the game. And I think that God, his defensive partner, what's his name? It's shocking. I can't even remember the poor fella's name. He likes it as well. So I don't know. But yeah, it could be tricky because we got absolutely spanked there last season at the beginning of the season. Taib says, James, I doubt Arsenal will win tomorrow. Laugh out loud. I think we might, but I don't think we're our own way, and I think it could be a bit tricky. James Dunlop, hi James. I'm going 2-1 Arsenal. Yeah, I agree with Jez. I think we might just sneak it. It's not going to be easy, not by any stretch. And I'd love to see Ivan Toney at Arsenal, because I think it'd be a good foil for Jesus up front. I think the two of them could be a good partnership. And James says, "Hi Jez, I've gone 2-1 to you guys as well. Won't be easy, Tayi, but do you need a bounce back ability after the defeat at United?" Oh, sorry, it won't be easy, Tayi, but you do need a bounce back ability after the defeat at United. Yeah, we do. That's what I think as well. It's important because if we lose against Brentford as well, then it could affect the confidence of the team. I'd go 1-0 to Arsenal tomorrow, says Del Boy. Yeah, I think Arsenal will edge it. I really do, but I'm worried about Ivan Toney. I really am. I'm going for a 2-2 tomorrow, says Craig. And Tay says, Warren, do you prefer pants off or pants on? What sort of question is that? I always like to keep my pants on, mate. I don't know what you're referring to, I'm sure. But that off-key comment is just absolutely hilarious. I absolutely love it. James Donut, looking at the earlier game, Man City are so frightening at the moment. Haaland already on 11 Premier League goals. I mean, that is ridiculous. He scored more Premier League goals than some teams have. It's crazy. Joe, 3-2 Arsenal. Now, you might not be too far off the mark there, actually. Whether we manage to score 3, though, I'm not sure. But I think we will just edge it. Ty, Warren, just wanted to make you laugh out loud. You certainly did, mate. The comment was wild. But it's nothing more than what I would expect from you, my friend. Right, so let's get back to the football and see what's going on. And it's still 0-0 at St James's Park. Look at that. Newcastle 67% possession against Bournemouth 33. Newcastle have had only 2 shots though, and so have Bournemouth. And both Newcastle's shots have been on target, and Bournemouth have had 1. Newcastle have had 2 corners, and Bournemouth have had none. And there's been 4 fouls for Newcastle and 3 for Bournemouth. So there you have it. So 0-0. So Tottenham against Leicester. That's a nailed on 3 points, I'm afraid, I think. Spurs against Leicester. Leicester are in a terrible state at the moment. I just don't understand it either because I think they've got some good players. I don't know whether there's an issue with Brendan and he's not interested or what the hell's going on. There's something that's not right at that club, though, for sure. And Diego says the curse of manager of the month may undo Arteta tomorrow. Well, I hope not, mate, because if we lose 2 games on the bounce, I'll be worried. And then Diego Arteta is just crap, mate. Diego. Oh, yeah, I get it now. Diego Arteta is just crap, mate. Yeah, he's not great, is he? He really isn't. And Ty, that's a bit that's a bit of a random question. Says Joanne, yeah, it was really, wasn't it? But that's why I love Ty because he always comes with these mad off-key comments. I think he's hilarious. I absolutely love it. And Ty says, Joanne, it was a joke. Say, yeah, it's okay, mate. Chill. Don't worry about it. It's fine. I knew it was a joke. James says, which team has surprised you so far this season, Warren? I'd say Fulham. They have started well, the season really well. Fulham have been really good. I was a bit shocked by the way Brighton have started. Let's see what happens now that Potter has gone to Chelsea. I've heard lots of talk in Glasgow that Brighton are sniffing round Ange, see if they can get him to come to the Premier League. I really hope he doesn't, because I'd like to see what he can do with that squad that he's got at Celtic, because I think they could get to the knockout stages of the Champions League this year. And then after that, who knows what will happen. Probably if they got to the knockout stages, I reckon they could. If they had a good draw, they could get to the quarterfinals. But after that, it's going to be difficult. Because they're going to be up against teams that have got far more financial power than they have. But, yeah, I don't know. I'd be interested to see how Ange got on in the Premier League, though, to be honest. I like the way he sets Celtic up and the way they play, because it's quite an aggressive style of football. It's very attractive on the eye. So it'd be interesting to see what happens. Ty says, Joanne, I didn't commit a criminal offence. Laugh my arse. No, you didn't. Ty, chill, man. Don't get upset. It's fine. I think she was just joking. So let's see what's going on. It's still 0-0. There's 23 minutes gone. Still 0-0 at St James's Park. Let's see what's going on. And there's been a goal at Livingston. So let's get the... and let's see what happened there. So Livingston have taken the lead against Kilmarnock. See what happened there. So the goal was scored for Livingston by a guy by the name of Montagno in the 25th minute, and it was assisted by Kelly in the 25th minute, and the goal was scored. Livingston 1, Kilmarnock 0. Christian Montagno, Livingston, had a header from very close range to the bottom right corner, and that was assisted by Sean Kelly with a cross following a corner. So there you have it. Livingston will be really, really happy about that. A good battle there. So Livingston are now up to 4th in the Scottish Premier League if the results stay the way they are, which would be incredible for them, really. And they'll be 1 point behind Aberdeen and 4 behind Rangers. So yeah, they're doing well. They're having a good crack at it. That's for sure. Let's get this back up and running the way I like it to be. Right. And Rangers against Dundee United. Dundee United, Glenn Middleton takes the ball beyond Borna Barisic at the edge of the box as he runs on to an Ian Harkes pass, but his low shot is blocked by Alan McGregor's outstretched foot. So there you go, Dundee United. They're not getting mauled this week. Did the other week, but let's hope that they don't get humiliated. That's not nice. Inside's getting slaughtered like the way they were. Unless it's your team that's doing it, of course, then it is. And 28 minutes gone at St James's Park. It's still Newcastle 0, Bournemouth 0. Wahey! Shout the home crowd as Dominic Solanke gets an overhead kick horribly wrong. So there you go. Let's have a look at the match stats for that one. It's 66 possession for Newcastle, 34% possession for Bournemouth, 3 shots on target for Newcastle, 3 shots for Newcastle, 3 shots for Bournemouth, 2 on target for Newcastle, 1 on target for Bournemouth. There's been 2 corners for Newcastle, none for Bournemouth, and 4 fouls apiece for both sides. So there you have it. Let's see what's going on with the chat. So let's get back to this chat. And how many will Leicester concede today? They're in a real mess this season. Yeah, mate, it's a good question. They're playing Spurs away, and I think Tottenham will win that game quite comfortably. I could see a 3 or 4-0 victory for Tottenham, but you never know. This could be the sort of game that Leicester would just suddenly turn up and pull our win out of nothing. Who knows? And Joanne says, Taib, yes, laugh out loud. There you go. Taib, Diego C. Palace says, Taib, laugh out loud. Mate, Taib, man, you are an absolute legend. You really are. You're absolutely hilarious. I always love it when you are in this chat, when I'm doing my chat, when I'm doing my Saturday show, or when I'm watching any other channels, because I know you're always going to put in some really funny comments, and I love it. I have to be honest, I really do. I think it's brilliant. Joanne wants an arrest warrant for me. Mate, be careful. Don't answer the door unless you know who it is. That's all I'm going to say. Joanne says, Taib, I do have a sense of humour still, despite my depression. I know you were joking. Exactly. Joe, I'm just winding you up, laugh out loud. And James Dunlop on Celtic Warren, one player I do like is Kyogo. I'm really impressed by him. Mate, they've got several. There's a guy there called Jota as well. He is unreal. He is. And then there's a young Japanese fellow who plays up front, not Kyogo, another one. He's quality as well. Hart's playing quite well, so I was a bit worried about him. But he's done well since he's come to Celtic, Joe Hart. And yeah, there is. They have a centre back that was at Tottenham, guy by the name of Carter Vickers. He's been really impressive. He's really strong and aggressive, and he's played really, really well. Taib says, James, do you think Haaland can score 60 this season? Let's see what James says to that. Not a chance, Taib, laugh out loud. Over 30 goals, possibly, if he goes through the entire season without an injury. Yeah, I don't think he scores 60. I just can't see that. Not 60 league goals as well, Taib, because Dixie Dean scored 60 league goals, not all goals in all competition. I don't know how many he got that season in all competitions, but 60 league goals, that's insane. Absolutely insane. There was a 42-game league season, I think. And I think I'm right in saying, so let's let me do a quick calculation. So he scored 60. That's 1.43 goals a game. This is ridiculous, honestly. So if you was to replicate that to this current era, 1.43 times 38. That'd be the equivalent of scoring 54 goals in a season, and league goals, not all goals in all competition. It's just madness. It just shows you how good a striker he was. And Diego C. Palace says, I'm going for a controversial Spurs 1, Leicester City 2. It wouldn't surprise me because these are the sorts of things that happen. Like when teams are struggling and suddenly, all of a sudden, out of nowhere, they just pull something out of the bag. They're a good side. That's the problem. They have got good players. So if Spurs turn up thinking it's going to be an easy win, they could end up getting a bloody nose. James says, very bold, Diego. Who knows? It could happen. Yeah, exactly. And James says, if Tottenham do destroy Leicester today, then Brendan Rodgers will definitely be gone sometime in the week. This is it, isn't it? I mean, the thing is, James, what do you think is the problem at Leicester? Why is it going so badly wrong? Because this has been continuing on from last season. And I think it was even the season before as well. I just don't get it because I rate Brendan. I think he's a good manager, but something's not right at that club. I don't know what it is. James says, tomorrow's games, I'm going Brentford 1, Arsenal 2, and Everton 1, West Ham 0, I hope. Right, okay, so I'm putting my neck on the line here. I'm going Brentford 0, Arsenal 2, and I'm going Everton 2, West Ham 1. That's what I think is going to happen. Because I don't think West Ham have been particularly good this season. But I think Everton have done fairly okay. Diego C. Palace says, terrible transfer window. What are you talking about? Palace? Terrible transfer window for who, Diego, are you talking about? Sorry, mate. That wasn't too. That didn't come across as being rude. I'm just not sure what team you're talking about with regards to the transfer window. But anyway, let's see what's going on because surely it's coming up to half time here now, surely. And there's been a yellow card at St James's Park. It's still Newcastle 0, Brentford 0, and Ryan Christie slides in on Joel Linton and gets a yellow one. So here we go, people.
Your book, son.
There you are. So he sees yellow. And it says in here that Ashley Williams, former Wales captain on Football Focus, and he was captain of Swansea City as well for a period, I seem to remember. I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure he was. He's saying, I do like confidence that you want to build your attacks from the back. I'm all for that. There's a lot of risks into the way Bournemouth are starting their goal kicks and trying to play a little bit. Yeah, maybe there is, but you don't want to be too cavalier about it because you could end up getting, if it goes wrong, it could go really badly wrong, couldn't it? Do you know what I mean? And something else happening here. The home fans are hoping for more. Maz Faruqi, who the hell is that? He's a commentator apparently on BBC Radio 5 Live. And I have to say, I've never, ever heard of the fella. What happened to Alan Green, by the way? What happened to Alan Green? I used to like Alan Green. He was decent. Wasn't as good as the commentators back in the 70s and the 80s, like Peter Jones and people like that. But he was okay. But this fella, I've never even heard of him. Bournemouth are still looking dangerous on the counter. The home fans are hoping for a bit more. They're hoping for a goal. We could have one coming, but still 0-0 here. And 39 minutes gone at St James's Park, and it's still 0-0. Let's see what's happening up in Scotland. And it's, let's see what the scores are. It's Hibernian 0, Aberdeen 1. 36 minutes gone there. 38 minutes gone at Livingston, and it's Livingston 1, Kilmarnock 0. And it's Rangers 1, Dundee United 0 at Ibrox, 38 minutes gone there. And it's St Johnstone 0, Ross County 0, 39 minutes gone there. What's this? Okay, no, we don't want that. So Anthony Stewart is yellow carded as he concedes a free kick 30 yards from goal. Joe Newell, who's last time out against Kilmarnock, timely hits the free kick into the arms of the goalkeeper, and Aberdeen still lead. So, Anthony Stewart, this is especially for you, my friend.
Your book, son.
Now, let's go here. I want to tell you about Aberdeen and Rangers. Back in the day, well, I still don't think they like each other. The rivalry between Aberdeen and Rangers was really, really intense. I remember years ago, I was on holiday in the Highlands with one of my mates, and we had like hours and hours and hours to kill in Glasgow before we got our train back down to London. And we decided to go to Ibrox because Rangers were playing at home to Aberdeen. We just thought we'd take in a game. And I remember saying to him, whatever you do, don't you dare let on that I'm a Celtic fan, because they will fucking kill me. They will, right? But in this game, I remember it was when Alex Ferguson was manager at Rangers, and it got really, really intense. And my mate I remember my mate turned around to me and he said, Warren, he said, if this was England, it would have gone off by now. And what he means, they would have been fighting in the stands, because the atmosphere was just unreal. It was like really, really intense, really aggressive, and they were at each other's throats really badly. And what Ferguson did with Aberdeen, he got this mentality into their heads. It was them against the rest of the league. And whenever they came and played one of the old firm, they used to get really physical and aggressive, and they didn't like it. And particularly Rangers, they really couldn't stand it. And because they had quite a physical team as well. They had likes of Ian Durrant and Ian Ferguson and Barry Ferguson, and honestly, it was an absolute nightmare. It really was. I really thought it was going to kick off. And yeah, the Aberdeen fans were there. They were singing about the Northern Lights, which is one of their famous songs and whatnot. And they got really, really, they were getting really, really aggressive. Both of them were, to be fair. But it was a bit of a madness. And Jez has said Ted Drake scored 42 goals for Arsenal in Div 1 in the 1934-35 season. Our top scorer in a season. There. See, Jez, was that 42 league goals, or was that league goals in all competitions? Because the 42, and that's still quite a way off 60, isn't it? But that's still massive amount of goals to be scoring in one season. Do you know what I mean? Because if it's league goals, that's a bloody goal a game. It's just crazy. And Ted Drake, I remember, he scored 6 goals at he scored 6 goals against Aston Villa in one game. And Tony Woodcock scored 5 for Arsenal at Aston Villa in one game as well. Mad. Diego C. Palace says Leicester. Yeah, I didn't follow it, but the they let that defender go who used to be a partner for William Saliba, didn't they? They let him go to Chelsea, and I don't know. It's just I'm not sure about like letting your best players go like that. Not if you want to be challenging for the top honours. You can't be doing that. And James says, from what I've heard on a Leicester fan channel, is that there wasn't enough money to spend in the summer, and they needed to sell the likes of Fofana. Yeah, that's what they're talking about. But Tielemans is still there. Yeah, and there was a lot of talk about Tielemans coming to Arsenal, but that never happened. Why? I don't know. But the thing is, that Tielemans thing and Arsenal is if he did come, I don't know where he would play because you got Odegaard is the captain, so he's not going to get dropped. Granit Xhaka, who Mikel Arteta seems to love, and I've heard rumours that Xhaka's got something in his contract that says if he's fit, he's got to play. So if that's the case, that he ain't getting in over Xhaka, right? Not given the fact that he absolutely loves Arteta, absolutely loves Xhaka, and then there's Partey. Now I don't know what's going on with Partey, and I'm not getting into that. But what he ain't going to get in the team ahead of Partey because Partey is starting to show his true colours in the team, and he's playing quite well. So I don't know. I don't know where he would have played unless Arteta was going to completely reshape the whole team's formation and whatnot. I don't know. Because for me, if it was me, I would have replaced Xhaka with Tielemans. But I don't know. Diego C. Palace says, if Brendan Rodgers does get the chop, I think he could suit the vacancy at Brighton. Yeah, he could do. He could do. I'd still like to see him at Arsenal, to be quite frank. Hasn't gone particularly well for him Leicester in the last couple of years, but I still think he's a quality manager, and I think he's better than Arteta, that's for sure. And Jez said he scored 42 league goals and 2 FA Cup goals to make it 44 in the season. There you go. 42 league goals. That's one goal a game. It's just crazy. Do you know what I mean? It is. It's madness. Like, it's crazy. It honestly, it really is. It just shows you what an absolute talent the man was. And Joanne Smith, I thought Leicester City were fairly wealthy. I did as well, but there you go. And Jez says, that season you also had Cliff Baston scoring 20 league goals and 1 FA Cup goal. Jesus Christ. That is insane, isn't it? It really is. And that forward line, them two playing together, I mean, I'm not sure, but I think Cliff Baston and Ted Drake were a strike partnership, weren't they, Jez? And if that's the case, Jesus Christ, 62 goal partnership up front. That is an absolute madness. Opposition defences must have been terrified when they were playing the Arsenal. They must have. Do you know what I mean? It was crazy. Okay, so let's see. So Ashley Williams is going on about how Newcastle are dominating, but it's still 0-0. A couple of really good saves from Neto, and he's earned his money. He says there it wasn't even Newcastle's fault. Joel Linton had a couple of good chances. So Joe Linton, rejuvenated under Eddie Howe, strides down the left with his long legs, and the Brazilian is then pulled down by Marcus Tavernier. The Bournemouth player takes a flailing foot in the face, but that is not going to stop him from earning a booking. So, Mr. Tavernier, sir, this is specially you.
Your book, son.
There you go. Matt Target delivery is wayward, and Bournemouth get it to safety. So Bournemouth are holding on at St James's Park by the sound of it. Let's have a look at the match stats because it's half time now in that game. And Newcastle have had 69% possession. Bournemouth have had 31%. Newcastle have had 6 shots. Bournemouth have had 3. Newcastle have had 4 shots on target and Bournemouth have had 1. And Newcastle have had 4 corners and Bournemouth have had none. And the foul count is 7 for Newcastle and 8 for Bournemouth. So there you go. There we have it. Let's go and see what's going on at half time in the Scottish League. See the scores. So Aberdeen have drawn level. So let's get. Sorry, guys. It's not Aberdeen drawing level. It's Hibernian have drawn level. So it's Hibs 1, Aberdeen 1. And in that game, dear, it's the bloody goal. Right, it's just on the stroke of half time. Hibs got a penalty, which was converted by Boyle to bring the game to 1-1. And also, the game has been littered with a number of bookings. And just before half time, Liam Scales of Aberdeen was shown red, left the field of play.
That's it. You're off.
So, yeah, so that's for Liam Scales. He's gone for an early bath and he won't be coming out for the second half. And then there was another booking after that. Bojan Miovski of Aberdeen. He's shown a yellow card for a bad foul.
Your book, son.
Surely, after you'd seen one of your colleagues getting sent off, you think, yeah, I need to be a bit careful here. Do you know what I mean? But no, he just gaily carries on. Like, Jesus, unbelievable. Some of these modern players, I'm telling you, they're like, wow, man. So the rest of the scores in the Scottish Premiership is Livingston 1, Kilmarnock 0, Rangers 1, Dundee United 0, and St Johnstone 0, Ross County 0. So there we have it. Let's go and see if there's any other interesting scores otherwhere in other games around the place, as they say. Right, let me just bring it up. Right, so in the Championship, it ended Swansea City 3, Hull City 0, Birmingham City 0, Coventry City 0, Burnley 1, Bristol City 1, Huddersfield Town 1, Cardiff City 0, Luton Town 0, Blackburn Rovers 0, Millwall 1, Blackpool 1, Norwich City 0, West Bromwich Albion 1, Preston North End 0, Sheffield United 1, Queen's Park Rangers 0, Stoke City 0, Watford 1, Sunderland 1, Wigan Athletic 0, Reading 0, and then tonight there's a game at Middlesbrough, the Riverside Stadium. I nearly said Ayresome Park, but it's not Ayresome Park anymore, is it? Middlesbrough entertain Rotherham United, so that'll be an interesting one. So there you go, that's that. In the Championship, the Women's Super League, it ended Manchester United 4, Reading 0. And in League One, it's Accrington Stanley 1, Cheltenham Town 0. Bolton Wanderers 0, Peterborough United 0. Bristol Rovers 1, Lincoln City 3. Cambridge United 0, Barnsley 1. Derby County 0, Wycombe Wanderers 1. Exeter City 0, Burton Albion 0. Fleetwood Town 1, Charlton Athletic 0. Forest Green Rovers 1, Morecambe 1. Oxford United 0, Milton Keynes Don 1. Port Vale 1, Shrewsbury Town 1. Portsmouth 1, Plymouth Argyle 0. And lastly, Sheffield Wednesday 0, Ipswich Town 1. In League 2, it's Bradford City 1, Stevenage 0. Carlisle United 1, AFC Wimbledon 0. Colchester United 0, Grimsby Town 0. Crewe Alexandra 0, Crawley Town 0. Doncaster Rovers 0, Swindon Town 0. Gillingham 0, Mansfield Town 2. Leyton Orient 0, Walsall 0. Newport County 0, Barrow 1. Northampton Town 1, Rochdale 0. Salford City 0, Tranmere Rovers 1. And Stockport County 0, Harrogate Town 0. And finally, Sutton United 0, Hartlepool United 0. Now, I've got to tell you a story about this club, Grimsby Town, right? I remember years ago, it was a Friday night, and me and my mate, we decided to go and watch Southend play Grimsby Town. Don't ask me why we did it. Well, we did. We went to Southend, to Roots Hall, and we watched Southend take on Grimsby Town. And any of you who know about Kent, there's a big rivalry between Kent and Essex, particularly around cricket. And we were standing in the away end, and the game was like dreadful. It wasn't a good game at all. So my mate got bored, and he decided to pull out the newspaper and start reading the paper. But it was the bloody Kent Messenger, wasn't it? I was going, Mick, put that bloody newspaper away. You're going to get us killed, right? And there was like a few people looking at him, thinking, what the hell are you doing? Reading the Kent Messenger? What's going on? Yeah, and then like when we were going to the game, we were like walking towards the ground, and for those of you who have been to other grounds before and it's the first time you've been there, we followed the old safe way to do it, and we followed a group of fans who had their colours on and whatnot. We just followed them because we assumed they were going to the ground, and they were. Anyway, we were walking along the road, and there was this carload of Grimsby fans pulled up, right? And one of them, he wound the window down and hung out the window, and he had a cardboard fish. It must have been about 3 foot long, this bloody thing. And he was hanging out the window with his cardboard fish, and he was pissed as a fart, this fella. And he shouts out to us all, "Hey up, lads, we're all from Grimsby." Then he wound down the window and they sped off at high speed. It was absolutely hilarious. It was one really, really funny thing. But anyway, so yeah, I just thought I'd share that with you because it was quite funny. Anyway, let's get back to the chat because I've neglected the chat a little bit. Jess says, yes, they were, mate. And yeah, that must have been terrifying to come out on the pitch and see them two, especially if you're a centre-back or whatnot, and you're going to have to face up against them two. Jesus. Taib Hussain says Brighton will be smart with their next managerial appointment. They will make sure they bring in someone who will guarantee them Premier League safety the way that mate, Premier League safety, I think they'll be pushing for a European spot the way they're going. 100% Taib, I agree. Look at their transfers as well. They recruit properly in every year, and it works. Unlike clubs like us, Villa, and a few others who just waste a lot on shite. Yeah, there's a certain other club in North London who's quite happy to waste money on players. Certain club with a Spanish man. Let's not say any more about that. Grant McRoberts, I'm still fuming that Van Bronckhorst hasn't been sacked. We should be slapping Dundee United, for fuck's sake. Well, yeah, I mean, after we tonked them 9-0 at Tannadice, you would expect so, wouldn't you? I would have expected them to put at least 3 or 4 past them today, if not more. And it's only 1. So, and still, if they do sack, my question to you, Grant, is if they did sack Van Bronckhorst, who would you want to come in? I mean, it's not looking good for your ex-manager at Villa, is it, to be honest? And I've just wondered if Mikel Arteta became available, would you take him at Rangers? That's what I'd be interested to know. And Taib Hussain says, Grant, who would you recruit as your next manager? Yeah, that's a good question. I'd like to know that as well. Taib was saying I would have gone for the Bodo Glimt manager, or with ambitions, Sean Dyche. Sean Dyche would be a good appointment, I have to say. I think he's tactically astute. And I think if there was any prima donnas there, he'd show them what's what, that's for sure. Grant, Ty says, Grant, looking at Rangers this season, you'll need a manager who has a track record of doing well in the league and in Europe to have a better crack in Europe, says Ty. And James Dunlop says, in Spain, Barcelona are 2-0 up against Elche. Someone called Lewandowski scored the first goal. Never heard of him. No, funny enough, neither have I, mate. Who is this fella? I've noticed him in the last few weeks. He keeps popping up with a few goals, this bloke. Says like he might be a bit of a prospect. Grant McRoberts at Tide. That ain't Gio, though. Gio proved on more than one occasion he's out of his. the Bodo Glimt manager showed he is good in Europe and in the league. There you go. See? Taib also, Sean Dyche would bring Rangers back in to old school water style 4-4-2 and would make us tough at the back. Yeah. Do you think he would go to Rangers? That's the thing. Grant, I'm not specifically mentioning Gio. He needs to go. You need a solid manager with a decent win rate. Grant, do you think, look, obviously we know about the thing with the Rangers support. There is an element of the Rangers support that I don't think they'd accept Sean Dyche because of his name, because I think they think there was an Irish element with him, and I don't think they would accept him. I really don't. But I don't know. And he also hasn't got very good reputation with the style of football that he plays. Do you think they would accept him? And what would you think about Arteta going to Rangers? I mean, because he did have a good playing career at Rangers, didn't he? But do you think that the fans would accept him? Taib was saying, don't really, because those two managers have a philosophy, and Bodo manager knows how to play Celtic. Well, that's true. He does. At Taib, we missed a trick with the Celtic manager. Yeah, maybe the Rangers will try a similar trick and go to an untapped league and see if they can pull a diamond out the rough. Taib says, Grant, the next appointment had to be right. It does. Taib says, has. Taib, trust me, those two managers will be good enough. There's no manager out there that are free that we can get. Do you think so, Grant? Or, because I think there's a few that you could get. And Grant, you make some good points. Let's see what Rangers decide on after Gio is sacked or leaves. Do you think, Grant, that he is on the verge of getting sacked, or do you think he'll be given longer? Grant Roberts says, hell no, I would not take Arteta. Gio is just Arteta, but with a CV. No, that's true. That is very true. James, speaking of Rangers, it's 2-0 Rangers now. There you go. So let's go. So it's 2-0 now, and it's another goal for Kolak in the 49th minute. And that goal was assisted by Barisic. And that goal came when Kolak of Rangers took a right-footed shot from the left side of the 6-yard box to the bottom left corner, and it was assisted by Borna Barisic with a cross. So there you go. Rangers now 2-0 up home to Dundee United. So let's see. Let's carry on with this chat. Graham Roberts, I would take Dyche. Don't know about the rest of the fan base, though. I know there is a divide between fans on Gio. I don't want any ex-Rangers player as manager. That I agree with you about that, because I don't want an ex-Arsenal player as our. The reason being is because, one, if it goes wrong, I don't want to see an Arsenal legend getting destroyed by our supporters. And two, given the way that our supporters behave about Mikel Arteta, I don't trust them. I just don't, because I think they've shown themselves to be so mad, and some of the things that they come out with is just so off the wall. That with this Arteta fella, he's not even an Arsenal legend, and the backing he gets. So if it got really bad with an ex-Arsenal player who is a legend at the club as a player, can you imagine how difficult it would be for the club to get rid of him if it wasn't working out, given how they behaved with Arteta, who isn't even an Arsenal legend? He's an Everton legend or a Rangers legend. No, I don't want that at all. Diego C. Palace says, on my to-do list as a neutral is to watch live Rangers v Celtic, also the Everton and Liverpool games. Mate, both of them are absolutely mad. I've attended an Everton derby, and I've been to few Old Firm games as well, and they're off the scale. They really are. James Dunlop, what about someone like Rafa Benitez? Oh, mate, don't mention that guy's name. I want him at Arsenal so badly because I think he would do an absolutely brilliant job. Would he be someone Rangers should be looking at, or probably not worth going for? I'd take him at Arsenal in a heartbeat, mate. I think he's absolutely superb. Graham Roberts, Gio is close to getting sacked. Last 3 games we've lost 11 goals and scored none. The managers I badly want have clubs, and they're Thomas Frank and Dean Smith. Dean Smith? Do you really want Dean Smith? My mate's a Norwich fan and he can't stand Dean Smith. He thinks he's tactically inept. So, yeah. Thomas Frank's not a bad shout, though. But whether you'd be able to get him away from Brentford, that's another matter. Taib says, Grant, do you take Parsen Penga? I think it's Arsenal's brother. Laugh my ass off. Taib, man, I don't know where you get these comments from, but they are absolute mad. Grant McRoberts at Taib. Nope, laugh out loud. James, that's my worry. If Duncan Ferguson ever became the Everton manager, if it goes wrong, then some people would turn their backs on him and cause a real division in the fan base. Exactly. It would be. I agree with you, and that's why I don't want an Arsenal legend. As well as the reasons that I gave earlier. What about Slaven Bilic? Laugh out loud. What, for Everton, or what are you talking about, Ty? For what club? Grant McRoberts says Rafa would not go to Scotland, Scottish football. I know Celtic were linked. Yeah, they were. They were apparently quite interested in him, but I don't know. One thing on Benitez, him and Everton was never gonna to work one bit, thanks to the clowns up top. Well, no, because of these Liverpool links, it was never going to be a thing, that. It wasn't. And I don't understand why they appointed him. James says, I think Taib suggests Bilic for Rangers, Warren. Yeah, I don't know. I can't see that working either. I'd like to see Bilic in control of youth development in Scottish football. I really would, because the way we're doing it at the moment, it's just not working. It isn't. I would not take Bilic at Rangers. I want him to have a job where he's in control of, like, setting out the whole plan for the development of youth players. I really would, because the way that the Croats, year on year on year, they've got this production line of players. You look at the amount of world-class players they get. It's year on year and year. And it's tiny population, right? So there must be something to do with the coaching. It really must, and that's what I'd like to see. Bilic Rangers wouldn't work. Not so sure on that one, says James. Right, okay, let's get back into the football, people. So it's still Newcastle 0, Bournemouth 0. 52 minutes gone. It's an easy save, but another one notched up by Neto as he catches Alexander Isaac's header. My mate Ferrucci, the BBC 5 Live commentator I've never heard of, Fraser was just trying to swaz it around. What swaz it? What the hell's that mean? Swaz it around the right hand. It certainly was close, but he seemed to be annoyed that he couldn't get it on target. Newcastle are really knocking on the front door now. There you go. So there you have it. So that's the Newcastle Bournemouth game. It's still 0-0. Let's see what's going on around the other Scottish games. And there's a goal. There's a goal. And I'm going to tell you where it is in a minute, but let me. And it's come at Ibrox. It's come at Ibrox. And it's now Rangers 2, Dundee United 1. And it's been scored by Smith for Dundee United in the 59th minute. And it was assisted by McGrath in the 59th minute. And Liam Smith of Dundee United takes a right-footed shot from the right side of the box to the bottom left corner, and it was assisted by Jamie McGrath. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. So there you have it, people. Yeah, anyone who's interested, next weekend, me and Del Boy are talking about doing a watch-along for the Scotland-Ireland game in the Nations League. So keep your eyes open for that. We're not sure definitely yet, but we're definitely thinking about it, and it could definitely happen. But just keep an eye out, and we'll let you know. That'd be an interesting game. It really will. So let's see what the other scores are. So it's currently Hibernian 1, Aberdeen 1, Livingston 1, Kilmarnock 0. It's Rangers 2, Dundee United 1, and it's still St Johnstone 0, Ross County 0. So there you go. Let's have a look at the table. So the Premier League, Scottish Premiership table, Celtic are running away with it at the moment. They're 2 points clear of Rangers, but the goal difference is absolutely insane. They've got plus 24 goal difference. Rangers, on the other hand, have got plus 8 goal difference. Livingston are in third, and they have 12 points. And Celtic have a game in hand as well on Rangers, don't forget. And Aberdeen are currently fourth. So there you go. That's the Premiership table. Kilmarnock are second bottom. They're on 4 points, and Dundee United are bottom. They're rooted to the bottom of the table on 2 points. they've only had 2 draws. Their 7 games so far this season, and they've conceded 20 goals and scored only 3. So there you have it. Let's go back here. So it's still 54 minutes gone. It's still Newcastle, Bournemouth 0. Newcastle have only won once this season. You know, really? Sure about that? They've only won once this season. You know, and they've only lost once as well. But the rest have all been draws. They won't want to drop more points at home today. The Magpies are attempting to step it up, but Bournemouth are holding firm. Yeah, so Bournemouth are holding on, and defensively they've done well today by the looks of it. I didn't realise that Newcastle had only won the 1 game all season so far. Mind you, there's only been 7 games, but yeah, Newcastle won't want that run to continue given all the money they've spent. Newcastle have had 70% possession and hit the post twice. Can they find the breakthrough? Can they find the 60 million man Alexander Isak? Yeah, there you go. Arsenal will link to him. There you go. So let's have a look at the chat. I think Shevchenko would be okay. Laugh out loud. Yeah, maybe. I'm not sure that he'll leave Ukraine, though. Is he still Ukraine manager? I don't know. Diego C. Palace. Isn't the current owners Everton? What? Isn't the current owners Everton once the part owner of Arsenal? I could be wrong. If you're talking about Usmanov, he was involved with Everton. Whether he still is or not, given all the shenanigans that we had with other owners, Russian owners of football clubs, you know, Abramovich and whatnot, I don't know. I don't know whether he had to leave. Maybe James knows, but I don't. What do you think about Chelsea sacking Thomas, says Joanne Smith. Joanne, I watched your man from Chelsea, SW6, absolute top man, proper Chelsea, talking about this subject. I really like the fella who does that channel. He's a top man and he knows his football. And I think it was hasty. I do. I do think it was very hasty, but that's Chelsea in a nutshell. They just don't. They're not prepared to accept failure, and it wasn't going well for Thomas Tuchel at Chelsea, and they fired the bullet. So there you go. Warren, what you having for tea? What am I going to have for tea? I'm not sure. I was thinking about that a few minutes ago, actually, funnily enough. I might have a couple of ham rolls and some fruit and bag of crisps. I'm not sure. Nothing too major. I don't like eating big meals for tea. I always like to have my main meal in the middle of the day. So... but I had a big breakfast this morning, so I don't think, and I didn't have anything for lunch, so I don't know. We'll see. What about you, Joanne? What are you going to have, my lovely? And James says, he was a shareholder at Arsenal, Diego. The way he's run Everton has been nothing but a disaster. Knows nothing about football one bit. Yeah, maybe I actually wanted him to get control of Arsenal, but I'm thinking now that we may have dodged a bullet with that one, to be quite honest. Yeah, so sorry about that, guys. My internet dropped out. And, oh, my God, something's happened at St James's Park. And it's a bit of a shock, I have to say. So... And Bournemouth have taken the lead at St James's Park. It's Newcastle 0, Bournemouth 1. Oh my goodness, what can you say about that? So let's go and find out what happened. And it's all changed again. There's been another goal at St. And it's now Newcastle 1, Bournemouth 1. And Mr. Isaac has come to the party and he's scored for Newcastle. Bournemouth's goal was scored by Billing in the 62nd minute, and it was assisted by Zamora in the 62nd minute. Isaac's goal was the 67th minute penalty. So there you have it. It's Newcastle 1, Bournemouth 1. So basically, Kieran Trippier crosses, looks to hit Jefferson Lerner's hand. Went to the VAR. It was looked at by them, and it clearly hit his hand. And Craig Pearson has come to the pitch side monitor, and then he gives a penalty to Newcastle. Isaac then took the penalty and confidently put it away. He sent Neto the wrong way. So there you go. It's Newcastle 1, Bournemouth 1. Let's see how Bournemouth scored their goal. So Bournemouth stayed patient in that attack and find the opening goal to stun St James's Park into silence. Jordan Zamura's cross to the near post was poked in by Philip Billing on the stretch. Newcastle have to work to do now, but Bournemouth caretaker boss Gary O'Neill's game plan is going precisely to plan. Well, it was until they gave that penalty away, wasn't it? But there you go. So, James McFadden, former Scottish forward on BBC Radio 5 Live, nice and calm, took his time and fired it back across himself into the corner, leading up to the penalty. It's a great move by Newcastle. Trippier was in acres of space, and had it not hit Lerma's hand, it was going into Isaac's path in the box anyway. So there you have it. So 70 minutes gone at St James's Park. It's Newcastle 1, Bournemouth 1. The crowd rise to their feet to pay tribute to Queen Elizabeth II in the 70th minute. So fair play to them. And let's get back into the chat. So, because there's quite a few chats waiting here. That would be a good game considering my stepdad is from Ireland. Well, just if you put your notifications on for me and for Del Boy, because I don't know who's going to host it or whatever, but we're definitely talking about it. The last one was an absolute legend of a show. It was me and him, and Carl Walsh should be on as well, I would imagine. It was brilliant. It was a really, really good show. So let's see what happens. Diego C. Ballis says, it's very strange watching the Chelsea side nowadays. I can't lie. Potter does look like Lee Gunner. He does look like Lee Gunner. I remember once I called Lee Gunner Tintin. It was only a joke, but yeah, he does. See, when Lee had these hair really, really short and it was blonde, that's what it was. Hopefully a Scotland win. The last game in Dublin was a horror show of a performance, mate. It was shocking. I ended up having to watch it, highlights of it, because I couldn't get the stream that I was trying to watch it on to work, but it was horrific. I don't know what was going on, and I hope that they've got it sorted out, because if we perform like that again, we're going to take another beating, I'm afraid. Taib says, Ron, some idiot was trying to justify why Vieira wasn't a great player. What? Because he never won a Champions League trophy. I find that ignorant and clueless. Mate, I 100% agree with you. It's absolutely ridiculous. So does that mean that Diego Maradona wasn't a great player as well? Because he never won the European Cup. It's absolutely insane. These people, honestly, they need to get a grip. It's just unbelievable. Some of the world's greatest players never won the European Cup or the Champions League. George Best was another one. Honestly, it's just crazy. Diego Maradona never won a European Cup. And you're trying to tell me that he wasn't a great player. He's one of the greatest players. Well, in my opinion, he was the greatest player ever. And no, I'm sorry, I'm not having that. James Dunlop. In fact, Ty, can you send me a message on WhatsApp and tell me where you saw that? Because I want to go and rip that person to pieces. Load of utter nonsense. James Dunlop, Newcastle draw specialist at the moment. They play well in the games they play, but not finishing the teams off. Yeah, maybe it's because they've got a few new players and they're taking time to gel, because this is what I was saying, like in the closed season. It's difficult if you try and bring in too many new players, right? I'd say, from my perspective, you can only take in 3 or 4 max, like in a transfer window, because you need to get them gelled, you need to get them bedded in, and any more than that, and it becomes too problematic, because it unsettles the whole dynamic of the club, and it just becomes unmanageable. James Dunlop, 1-0 Bournemouth. Yep, we've gone through that, mate. Usmanov isn't involved at Everton. It's Farhad Mashuri pulling the strings. What happened with Usmanov? Did he end up leaving Everton, or what? With all this business with, Russia, its invasion of Ukraine? James Dunlop said, not looking good for Joey Barton today. Bristol City are 5-1 down at home to Lincoln. Dear me. No, they won't be happy down at Ashton Gate with that one, that's for sure. I remember seeing them play in the old First Division at Highbury. And I think they got a 0-0 draw. I'm not sure. It was either a 0-0 draw or we beat them 2-0. Yeah, they used to have a good side, Bristol City, back in the day. Diego C. Palace says, thanks, James. No worries, Diego. James Dunlop says, Newcastle penalty. Yep. Well, I didn't see this coming. A possible Bournemouth away win at Newcastle United. Is that a penalty for Newcastle United? And Joanne Smith says, I've had a ham roll, and Chris laugh at that. There you go. Nothing like a good ham roll and a packet of crisps. 1-1, Isaac scores, says James Dunlop. And sorry, guys, my internet dropped out, says Warren. Well, it did. And I was thinking, oh, here we go. All okay now. Keep going. Exactly. I'm going to let something like that stop us. And Gemma Vivian. Hey, hi, Gemma. Nice to see you. Thanks for coming in. I don't think I've seen you on one of my streams before, so welcome. Lovely to see you. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you are enjoying it. Diego C. Palace says, wasn't your Arsenal linked up with Alexander Isaac at one point? Yeah, we were linked with him. And one of our supporters was trying to make out he was in London to sign a contract. Basically, what it was, he bought a car or something, and Arsenal fans, and they just went over the top, and they were tracking his car and all this carry on, and it was just getting it transported back to his country and whatnot, and he wasn't coming here at all, ever. It was just crazy. Some of the way our fans behave sometimes is a bit of an embarrassment. Joanne says, I went to Sandringham yesterday to see the flowers. Queen was a top gooner. She was a top gooner, 100%, Joanne. She was a big Arsenal fan. James Dunlop says he was never at Everton, Warren, only his company. Oh, okay. USM was sponsoring our training ground. Oh, okay. All right. Well, at least it didn't I hope it didn't cause you too much hassle when all this stuff happened. James Dunlop says, not Bristol City, sorry, Bristol Rovers he's at. Oh, okay. Now 6-3 down to Lincoln now. Jesus Christ. They're getting absolutely ripped to shreds. There you go. There you go. That's shocking. So let's see what's going on now in these games. Let's go and round up. So it's 78 minutes gone. It's Newcastle 1, Bournemouth 1. And let's do this. Scores and fixtures. Right. So, wow. And there's been a few goals at Easter Road. So, it's now Hibs 3. Oh, I've got the wrong tab. Sorry. It's now Hibs 3, Aberdeen 1. And it's now Hibs 3, Aberdeen 1. Campbell scored 2 goals in 11 minutes to put 3-1. Hibs 3-1 up. The second of those goals was assisted by Kukaharevich in the 73rd minute. And Scales was sent off for Aberdeen in the 44th minute. So there you go. I think I mentioned that earlier, actually, come to think of it. Yeah, so Hibs are 3-1 up. Let's have a look and see how those goals went in. So the first one go. 62nd minute. Okay. Right. Just give me 2 seconds, guys, and I'll tell you all about it. Yeah, so here we go. The first goal, Hibs' second goal, Josh Campbell of Hibs took a right-footed shot from the centre of the box to the centre of the goal, and that was assisted by Chris Cadden. And then the third goal from Hibs, Josh Campbell again, a right-footed shot from very close range to the bottom left corner, and that was assisted by Mykola Kukaharevich with a headed pass. So there you go, Hibs 3-1 up at home to Aberdeen. Now that is a bit of a shock. That takes Hibs above Aberdeen into the table. They're now sitting in 4th. Livingston are 3rd. Livingston are still 1-0 up against Kilmarnock. 85 minutes gone in that game. Hibs are winning 3-1 at home to Aberdeen, as we just saw. 82 minutes gone there. 86 minutes gone at Ibrox. Rangers still hanging on, winning 2-1 at home to Dundee United. And with 3 minutes left to play, St Johnstone and Ross County are still drawing 0-0. And it's only 2 points between the two of them in that game. So if Ross County manage to win that game, they'll move above St Johnstone. So tight battle there. So yeah, Hibs 3-1 up. But let's go back and see. "83 minutes gone at St James's Park. It's still Newcastle 1, AFC Bournemouth 1, and Bournemouth threatened with 10 minutes remaining. In the 80th minute, that was, Ryan Christie opts to shoot instead of passing to Jaden Anthony, but he cannot find the target. There was a substitution in the 79th minute. And Marcus Tavernier made way for Jaden Anthony, who scored the winner as a sub against Nottingham Forest. In the 83rd minute, Joe Willock from long range, but again, he's not finding the target. Can anyone find a winner with 7 minutes remaining is the big question at St James's Park. And what have we got here? There's another update. Bournemouth shown determination and character, says Glenn Murray, former Crystal Palace striker, on final score. Bournemouth have shown a lot of determination and character. Even though they've been out of possession for long periods, it's been mainly Newcastle for the full game. In the second half, they have been quicker in their movements and scored in the back of soaking a lot of pressure, which happens to a newly promoted club. There you go. So there you go. Glenn Murray has spoken, and that's his opinions on the game. So let's get back into the chat, see what's going on there. And Diego C. Palace says, "Oh no, Millwall 2-1 up now against Blackpool." There you go. I've been to Millwall twice. It's not an experience I would like to. I'd like to repeat again in a hurry. To be quite honest with you, Jesus, absolute mayhem. Gemma Wilson says, "I'm Carney's partner, so I've been on the streams on his phone." Okay, brilliant. I hope Carney's all right. Please give him my best wishes, Gemma. I hope you both are okay. Jeff P, what's happened to Everton since Ancelotti left? Shows what a good manager Ancelotti is. Absolutely. Ancelotti is an absolute don, in my opinion. That's why I always refer to him as Don Carlo, because I just think for me, the other night when they played Celtic just shows why he's a top-level manager. He never panicked, even though at one point in that first half they were getting absolutely ripped to pieces. And if Celtic had taken one of their chances, it could have been a really difficult evening for them, but they didn't. And then in the second half, he changed a few things around and they come out and went in a quick succession, and it was bang, bang, bang. Thank you, ma'am. And it was all over and done with. It just shows you what a class manager he is. James says, bad decision making from the ownership, Jeff. Ancelotti wasn't getting backed. Also, Richarlison made comments saying he had to leave Everton due to lack of ambition. Well, there you go. You know, that old chestnut. I don't blame Richarlison for leaving. I wish the lad all the best and hope he achieves what he wants to achieve. 100%, mate. I agree with you 100%, James. I'm not sure. Jeff P says, I'm not sure Everton will have a good season with the Everton squad as it is and Lampard as manager. Yeah, I'm not convinced about Lampard as a manager either. I think he's a bit iffy. I don't think he's the right man for the job myself. Be interested to see what happens if Everton struggle again this season and at the end of the season if Leicester have struggled as well. If Leicester part ways with Brendan, whether Brendan would get taken on by Everton, because I think he would do a brilliant job. Because I rate Brendan. I think he's top draw manager. I really do. Which leads me to a question for you, James. Would you take Brendan Rodgers at Everton? I know it's another one with a Liverpool connection, but would you? I'm not sure that you would because of his Liverpool connection. But I honestly, mate, I think he's a top manager. I do. But there again, so was Rafa, but that didn't work. And it was mainly because I think of his Liverpool connections. I take a boring mid-table season and a cup run, Jeff. We are a trillion miles away from most teams, for them European places and even higher. If Lampard doesn't last season, I would be shocked if Sean Dyche was appointed. He said if Lampard doesn't last season, I wouldn't be shocked if Sean Dyche was appointed. See, the thing is, do you think the Everton fans would take to Sean Dyche? Because he has got a bit of a reputation for playing a bit. He's got a reputation for playing roaring football, hasn't he? And I'm not sure. I don't know. I'm just not sure about him, to be honest. Joanne Smith says, I've got two new additions to the family. Oh my God. How many cats have you got now, Joe? You could be starting your own cattery at this rate. How's the cat house at the back garden going? And I remember seeing it, the pictures of it when it was being built and when it got finished and whatnot. How's that doing? James says, not for E, Warren, nothing to do with the Liverpool connections. It's a fact his teams cannot defend. Now, that's true. That is true. It is a bit of a concern, especially with where you are in the table. You need someone who comes in who's going to be defensively solid, and I don't think that's Brendan, to be honest. So that, I think, was his undoing at Liverpool, because they couldn't defend, and if you want to win a title, you have to be defensively solid. Joanne says 6 now. Jesus. They're going to call you the Catwoman of Norwich at this rate, Joanne. James, the fans would be very upset. Or the Catwoman of Norfolk. James said the fans would be very upset if Dyche was appointed. He doesn't excite any Evertonian if he was mentioned. Who would you, seriously, never mind if they're available or whether they would come, who would you like to see as Everton manager, James? Don't worry about whether they're available, whether they would come. Who would you take? For example, would you take Duncan? I know you said you wouldn't earlier, and I understand why you wouldn't, and I agree with you. Del Boy Gunner TV, Joanne is a cat queen. She certainly is, Del Boy. Yes, still lots to do. Got sand and bricks to put it on. Excellent, Joanne. Del Boy says, James, who would you take? James, haven't got a clue, Del Boy. That's the problem. What about an ex-player? What about, I know he's been out of the game for a long time, but for example, if Peter Reid, how would you feel about having Peter Reid or, I don't know, Paul Bracewell or Trevor Stephen? I know they've been out of the game a long, long time, and I'm going way back here with some of those names. Joanne, I have Sylvester, Dexter, Winnie, Black Cats. Winnie is a kitten, 10 weeks old. Fonzie, the mackerel, Black Angel, the black and white one, and Ali, the new grey kitten. Fantastic. I still back Lampard, but with the ownership we have, it doesn't make any difference who the manager is anymore. Well, that's a massive issue, isn't it? Because if the ownership isn't doing what's required, then it doesn't matter who you've got in the hot seat, because it's not going to make a slightest bit of difference, which is a bit unfair on Lampard, to be honest, because he's on a tricky wicket before he does anything. Del Boy Gunner TV. James, how about the ex-legend Arteta? Oh, God. We had that conversation earlier. He doesn't want him. No, that was Grant McRoberts said he didn't want him. Not sure about that, Warren, to be honest. James says, if he gets you in the Champions League, Del Boy, then I'll take him laugh out loud. That ain't happening. He ain't getting us in the Champions League, mate. Not in a million years. If Arteta had been appointed Everton manager instead of Ancelotti, he would have been sacked by now. That's true, and probably Everton would have been relegated. Del Boy Gunner, James, laughing emojis. What about the ex-Ireland manager, the Italian fella? What was his name? Was it Trapattoni? Poor Del Boy is probably banging his head on the table now after that comment I just made. James, before he went back to West Ham 2019, I would have taken David Moyes back. That would have been the ideal appointment. Yeah, I think Moyes' time at West Ham is done. I think he's had his best spell. For me, I think he's gonna. I think West Ham are going to struggle this season. I think the best they can hope for is mid-table. I just think he's yesterday's man, and I don't know. It saddens me because he's a massive Celtic man, and I don't know. I just don't think he cuts it anymore. I really don't. And he was a great manager in his day and a great player as well. But no, I think he's had his time. So let's see what's going on. So it's 5 minutes of added on time, and it's still Newcastle United 1, Bournemouth 1. Let's see what's going on up in Scotland. And the games in Scotland have all finished. It finished Hibernian 3, Aberdeen 1, Livingston 1, Kilmarnock 0, Rangers 2, Dundee United 1. And finally, St Johnstone 0, Ross County 0. So a good win for Rangers, although it was only by 1 goal against Dundee United. But they won, so they got the points. That's what's important for them, I guess. But let's have a look at the Premier League. No, let's not look at that. Let's have a look at the Scottish Premier League table. Celtic are top, Rangers second. Celtic have a game in hand over Rangers. Livingston are now up to third, and Hibernian are up to fourth. Aberdeen have slipped down to fifth, as have Hearts have slipped down to sixth. Motherwell down to seventh. St Mirren are in eighth. Ninth are St Johnstone. Ross County are in 10th. Kilmarnock are in 11th, and 12th are Dundee United. So that's the Scottish Premiership coverage finished for today. Let's go back to the Premier League and see what's going on there. And it's still 1, and 7 minutes have added on time. And there it is. It's finished. It's finished. Newcastle United 1. AFC Bournemouth 1. So yet another draw for Newcastle United. They've only won 1 and they've only lost 1. The rest of them, they've drawn. So let's have a look, see what that's done for the Premier League table. And it's Newcastle are in 10th. They've got 8 points. They've won 1, drawn 5, and lost 1. They've got a goal difference of +1. They scored 8 and conceded 7. And Bournemouth, where are Bournemouth now? Bournemouth are in 12th. They've played 7, won 2, drawn 2, and lost 3. They've scored 6 goals and conceded 19, and the goal difference of -13, and have 8 points. So there you have it. That's it, guys. That's what's happening. Now, let's go back. See what the games we've got. We've got a game tonight in about half an hour. Tottenham are taking on Leicester City. And then tomorrow, at 12 o'clock, we've got Brentford against Arsenal and Everton against West Ham United. Everton against West Ham is 2:15 kickoff. Arsenal's 12 o'clock. The games between Manchester United and Leeds United has been called off, and Chelsea and Liverpool has been called off. I'm not surprised because both of those games, the Newcastle Leeds game is a real powder keg game, and so is Chelsea and Liverpool. Neither of those sides particularly like each other, so it could have been a bit dicey, to say the least. So anyway, let's get into the chat. And oh dear, I've really lost my way now with this chat. And James says, tomorrow, hopefully, Moisey does us a favour and gives us our first win of the season. Laugh that lad. Well, yeah, and that's going to be a really interesting game because I think it'll be tight. And it wouldn't surprise me if you beat them, to be honest, because I'm not impressed with them so far this season. I think they've been poor, to be frank. Jeff says, I think Rodgers is likely to be the next Premier League manager to be sacked. Yeah, I don't know, because I'm not sure about that. I need to go, Warren. Great stream, mate. See you all soon. Take care. Thanks very much for tuning in, James. It's lovely seeing you. Take care of yourself, buddy, and say hello to all your family for me. I hope they're all doing well. Diego C. Palace. Take care, James. James says, you too, Diego. And Diego says, my Palace is still in touch with both Bournemouth and Newcastle. Exactly. So, I think for Palace, it was a bit of a big loss to lose the young lad that you had on loan from Chelsea. Because I think he was a really, really good player for you. But I think you've got a really good manager, Vieira. I rate him as a manager, but I just wouldn't want him at Arsenal because I just don't trust our supporters to behave in an appropriate manner towards him. I just think, I think it'd be really tricky. Yeah, Gallagher, that's the one. I think if it got dicey and things started going pear-shaped, then I don't trust our fans to like put pressure on the board, because I know our board, they don't like sacking managers. They don't, even when it's clear that the fella isn't doing what's required. And I wouldn't want to see that happen to Vieira and him getting vilified and whatnot. And I don't trust our supporters not to, you know, if they behave the way they do with Arteta, can you imagine, who's not a club legend, can you imagine how they behave with someone who was a club legend? It would just be ridiculous. Well, it is ridiculous at this point. But, yeah. Anyway, guys, I'm going to end it now. Thank you all very much for joining me today. I've really enjoyed chatting with you and seeing you all here. Jeff says, look at the excuses they made for Arteta and the way he behaves. Exactly. That's my whole point, Jeff. That's why I wouldn't want a club legend managing the team. I really wouldn't. Well done all, says Diego C. Palace. And the same to you, fella. Thanks very much for joining in and getting involved. I really, really enjoyed it. So thank you. Yeah, have a great day, everyone. Like I said, Del Boy and I are looking to do a stream, hopefully next Saturday for the Ireland-Scotland game. I'm not sure what's going to happen with that yet. I mean, we're still just talking about it at this point. But hopefully we'll be able to do it. I'm also going to be doing a stream soon on Diesel's channel in the paranormal series I do for him. So keep your eyes open for that, because I'm telling you, this one is going to be epic. It's going to be incredible. I'm really looking forward to it. And it's something I've got really strong opinions about. And my opinions on it, I'm not going to tell you what the subject is, but my opinions on it, I think will shock a few people, to be honest. Anyway, guys, thanks very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And please don't forget to put a like on the video if you've enjoyed it. And also, please don't forget to go and subscribe to all those channels I mentioned earlier. And particularly Arsenal, the History and More. And to Del Boy Gunner TV, Carl Walsh Gunner, the Aussie Gooner. Yeah, come show these guys some love and whatnot, please, because they do brilliant work. They honestly do fantastic content. So please go and check them out. Yeah, so go and make sure you check out Arsenal Alex, the Aussie Gooner, Diesel Arsenal, Del Boy Gunner TV, Arsenal, the History and More, Gracie-Mae, NorthsideLdn, the Football Capital, and Carl Walsh Gunner TV. Now, the Football Capital, I'm not sure whether you guys know about the Football Capital or not. It's a Aussie football channel, and listen, they do. The Football Capital is a brilliant channel. I absolutely love it. The guy who runs it, he's a Man United fan, and he was getting a little bit excited, I have to say. When they beat Arsenal recently, he was sending me pictures of him smoking big fat cigars and whatnot. So he needs to be taken down a peg or two. And but honestly, he's a top lad. I really like him. And as all these people are, so please, please, please go and check them out and subscribe to their channels, because you won't regret it. I'm telling you, you won't. And yeah. Anyway, guys, thanks very much for tuning in. And the last one of the day says, bye, Warren from Taib. Yeah. Taib, please don't forget to send me that comment that you were going on about earlier, that one that was going on about the player that never won the Champions League. Vieira. not having won the Champions League or the European Cup. Therefore, he couldn't be seen as a world-class player. No, please send me that because I want to go and rip that person to pieces. Anyway, guys, please take care, and I look forward to seeing you all soon. Thanks a lot. Take care, and I look forward, like I say, to seeing you soon. Don't forget, take care. Look after all your loved ones and family and friends. Remember, please, please, please share some love and kindness around the world. And have a great rest of your day, whatever you're doing. And I love you all. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you all again really soon. Take care, everyone. Thanks. Take care. Bye for now.